defend their right to fair treatment.
Yeah, but
so
I also agree with that.
Old men talking. Yes, so we are. I should tell listeners that we are live on NBS television. A lot of people have been writing on X and sending me messages that can we continue with radio? And yes, you must continue on radio because as you've heard us having a radio chat just now, we'll continue like that. So for the what should I say? For those watching us on NBS, I am Oscar Semoyam Soke with a bevy of topics. I have the one who's training our tongue to call him Honorable Ofwono Opondo. You're most welcome to the Capital Gang.
But
First one on NBS television.
Camarado.
Yeah.
Oh is good.
Oh is good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even me, Waf is just
Waf is Wafuro Gutu is a senior journalist.
Yeah.
This is very good. But you're the topic anyway, so we want to start with NMG closure.
Okay. You know, this guy used to call those who didn't. I think Waf was among the first university graduates.
Yes.
To go into journalism.
And he's stuck.
He would refer to others as quack people.
Quack journalists.
The ones who didn't have a similar qualification. And then he forced them to go to school.
Actually, we began the school in Makerere.
Yeah.
The Tamale Mirundis.
Yes.
And as a consequence, they started the school.
Yes.
The degree course.
Yes.
In Makerere University.
Yes.
Mass media.
And most of the internship was done by us.
That's one of.
And at some point, Peter Mwesige
yes.
was head of mass media. You remember?
Who?
He's now Dr. Peter Mwesige, young man.
Babies.
Yes, those are our children.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they headed the school.
Yes.
But now you're unemployed.
I'm unemployed.
Yeah.
No, I'm.
So when you're having a chit chat with Ofwono Opondo before you come into the studio, do you get to ask
We're
him?
talking about farming.
Oh, you're talking about farming, not Nation Media closure.
No, we hadn't gone there yet.
Now let's go to Nation Media closure.
Yes.
So let's start with, as a senior journalist here, we start with the W's. What happened?
What happened is actually a long story.
We are here.
We have had a long story with the government ever since we started. There have always been some run-ins from the government because they would have written or published something that they don't like or broadcast. And I'm not surprised about what is going on. Although that this time it was done in a manner that is not right. I mean, it is not even constitutional or legal. Because previously we've been having some letter from the UCC or from the Minister of Information. But this time it came from a different direction. It came from I'm a commander. And I'm a commander tweeting and closing a media house. That is something you never hear about.
But that's not really what happened. I mean, that's after. On the day itself, people came and switched off your transmitter. What happened? How do you switch off a radio?
No.
A radio station.
But they had surround the place at night.
The place was surrounded at night.
People who were there were surrounded in, and the people who were coming they could not enter. And basically, the army took over the place as if that was a bit of a part of Rwanda or Congo or Kenya or something. They just took it over. And they haven't really explained.
Yeah.
We still
so
don't
they
know.
asked people to leave.
They ask people to leave, and those who are coming go home.
So and right now you don't have any staff in that your main building.
Nothing goes on there because they say they are having discussion with the majority shareholder. He didn't even go with the MD of the establishment, Susanna and Sibirwa, and we got a bit worried about that. We don't know what they are discussing. But Ofwono Opondo knows because this is their group.
His government. Ofwono Opondo is their government.
They are becoming roguish. They are behaving in some like rogues.
First, let's stick to NMG to begin with. So we have a young Derek Wandera here.
Yes, Derek.
He usually comes.
Yes.
So he has no salary because you closed before you could pay out salaries.
Yeah, precisely. And all of them are like that. They have no salary. I know that this.
How many people work for the Nation Group in Uganda?
I know that the monitor alone, those who are there, are mostly about 300.
300 people, monitor alone.
And then with the monitor alone, yeah.
Then you have
the NTV.
NTV.
Then, of course, you have the outlets.
Yes.
Yeah, there are quite a number. Maybe I might estimate that about 3,000 people could be affected by this whole losing job, losing income, losing livelihood. Yeah.
And they could have had a salary if your finance department was allowed to go and work. At least they would get money.
And things like that, you know, if it was done in a smart way, that you are doing legally, then of course you don't want to inconvenience a member of staff whose child is sick and the salary is in account and they can't touch it and give him because they are not allowed to go anywhere near, because even if they had money, they can't take money to people's homes. It is something which I haven't understood why the army commander did things like that.
Andrew Mwenda has said,
who was basically
your OB.
No, I mean, he came. I remember Andrew Mwenda came to my office when he was in senior 5 in Mwiri, and he talks very quickly. I said, this one talks so fast, and we nurtured him.
Yeah,
we nurtured him up to the time he left in anger, and in anger because somebody had questioned how he was writing or how he was producing it in the radio program.
His resignation letter is very good.
Now he's the one who
For
is
me,
saying,
as a practicing teacher, at some point I'll unleash his resignation letter. It is very good for literature students.
We have been reading it recently.
Yes.
Yeah, a long letter. He was abusing the Aga Khan. We thought he was very hard on Aga Khan. But that's Mwenda. But now, things he rioted about are the things he's advising, because Mwenda is the chief advisor of the CDF. He's advising him to do exactly that. I mean, they want us to sack some of our managers. They want us to sack some of our editors.
I guess it wouldn't be the first time.
That will not happen, by the way.
It is not the first time, and he himself was sacked. So
that to me, but not happening.
But
rather close.
Yeah.
Than they are giving us.
To be fair, you've done it before. You've put managers down. You let Andrew Mwenda go because of pressure from maybe the state. So don't never say no.
But they never told us who should replace.
Just hold on 1 minute. There's a time, the last closure of Monitor was when you had a letter from General Sejusa. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes,
time.
I do. I remember the one for the Muhoozi project.
Yes, and then that one brought closure onto you. This time it has not been
looking for it. They never got it.
But it hasn't been very clear why you were closed. But Andrew Mwenda said that on the basis of analysis that 90% of Monitor and NTV News is negative against government. What do you have to say to that? But
you see, Oscar, some of those things to be negative opinion is an opinion. If I criticize your government or what you are doing here as Oscar, you will say I'm negative. But actually I'm helping you. I want you to do it better. That's the whole thing. And if you stick to truth, you know that you are going to collide with those who do wrong things. It could be anybody. As long as you stick to truth and fairness, you are going to collide with somebody who is doing wrong things. Government does a lot of bad things, which they want to hide. And they say, if you expose them, you are anti-government, which is very simplistic. And yet, if they did what you are pointing out, the people would love them. It was a good thing. I remember when I was at the Monitor, I had a discussion like this with Museveni, and I said, no. If I know I'm right, if it's the truth, I will say it. Let the others also defend themselves, including you, Mr. President. And sometimes he did that. Say, okay, quote this source close the State House, and I will do that. But he said something to do with the neighboring countries. Even if it's the truth, don't touch, because it can cause war between us and another.
President Museveni told you that in the discussion.
Yes, he told me that.
He himself.
Yes, he did. And he particularly mentioned the Moi, Kenya. You know, there's a time when there was going to be a war in Ofwono's place there. The guns the regime went and stationed guns there in the mountains of Tororo, facing Kenya. They wanted to fight 880 Ofwono. And he said, Moi is very touchy about it. Don't write about Moi. So, and we said, okay, even if it's truth, it's the truth. So we didn't. But inside here, we wrote. And we would argue with him. The government has taken Monitor many times to court. They have never won a case. We have always won. And they have, listen, they even paid us. But we also paid, I think we paid the...
COVID.
For COVID story, we paid Museveni. 300 million shillings, we paid him. He won, he defeated us.
Yes.
Yes, because we could not prove that he had a special vaccine for his family in the State House. We got a out of New York Times, like a small store, and used it, which was
New
a
York
mistake.
Times was fed falsely by Honorable Semuju.
Yeah.
No. How do you know that? Don't accuse Semuju is not here.
I know because Semuju had said so first of all on the floor of Parliament, and then because of his story, his statement in Parliament, New York Times, I think now he had forgotten that he had said it on the floor, and said, "Don't quote me." I know for a fact.
Oh, okay. Okay, but you know, that one we made a mistake, and sure we had to pay.
Not a lot of people know that. Didn't the payment come with the necessary apology?
Yeah, we apologized.
Front page,
but we never went. But we need to go to court particularly.
They didn't go to court.
Yeah.
It came with an apology.
Go to the microphone.
It came with an apology.
Yes.
And even when they paid the 300 million, the president spoke publicly about it. The president then donated that money to the NRA. And
very painfully, yes.
Yeah, not very painfully.
Painfully for who? For Monitor?
As funding NRA.
That's ironical. The Monitor funding NRM.
Yes.
So, what are you doing for you, the Uganda chapter? Because you've allowed the majority shareholder to come in from Tanzania and have negotiations, but you, the local unit, you have
it is a very
local chairman for Monitor and so on. What
it is
doing?
A bit unique situation because we haven't even met the majority shareholder. He just bought. He hasn't even come to report here officially. There's not even a board in place. There's an old board. I was serving in it. I retired last year. We are just there in abeyance. We don't know how to proceed. And the first time he has come is when we are seeing him meeting the CDF.
Have your people gone to Kenya? Have they gone to UCC? I mean, are you taking any action or just sitting back and waiting?
I guess we are watching the situation, and I'm very sure we shall take government to court. Whether they ban the paper or close the whole media house, we shall take them to court. Either this government or the government or my government of PFF. But we shall take them to court because loss of income, yes. Yeah.
And all those journalists that Monitor and NTV have, so what are they doing?
They are just there. They're just there. I wish they... one day I told Ndugurugunda, he was the Minister for Information, so he came to visit me at the Monitor. At that time, we were suffering a ban. An advert ban, which the Ophonos have had occasion. With the pike here, Capital Show, Capital Radio. They removed adverts from us for 3 years. They wanted us to die economically. So I told him that, Ndugu, my staff here, apart from me, we hate you. They hate you. They hate your government because you want to take away their jobs. For 3 years, we have struggled. We have grown. We're up to here. And it doesn't help you as a government to keep it this way because they'll hate you and do bad things about you because we think you don't want us to exist. He laughed. But after a month or so later, they lifted the ban. So we have had that relationship.
Yeah, because the most recent one was when you were banned from Parliament.
Yes, and the president. And covering the president.
And covering the presidential.
Yeah.
But the presidential was a little bit back. But Parliament, by the former speaker, banned Monitor. And I think NTV from covering in Parliament.
The entire NMG was banned.
The entire NMG.
Yeah.
And then very recently, she has no control over Parliament. Had you returned to Parliament?
Yes, they told us to return to Parliament. I think they both said that we should return to Parliament. But now we can't return to Parliament because
you have nothing. Ofwono Opondo.
Yes.
Are you settled? Is the first question I should ask you because
settled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honorable Commander told you that you settled down because you said
remember
closure of nation media. He said should we continue?
He quickly deleted.
He did.
Yes, he did. Well, the context is Honorable Kabanda said Mwenda tweeted and said he and the CDF have had a discussion on phone, and they are going to reopen the NMG. They asked PLU. So I said, is it PLU that closed NMG, or it is the government of Uganda? To the best of my knowledge, it is the government of Uganda. So tongue in cheek, I said, if you have closed, if the government we elected on 15th January doesn't exist, please tell us, and we settle. In short, I was asking whether there had been a coup.
But there has been a creeping coup. You know that.
The creeping is what I asked him whether there had been a coup and the government of Yoweri Museveni and NRM do no longer exist. And Kabanda, in his usual floppy way, said yes, settle. After about an hour, I think he was advised that that was reckless and he deleted the tweet. But anyway,
it left me with a smile. He said, even added a sir for you. He said, please settle, sir.
Yeah, sir. Yeah. To Leah.
You know, in Uganda, there are many people who run past
let me first tell Waf to Star Cafe is supplying. Yes, this is the one place you don't have to come with a chapati in the pocket.
Star Cafe. Yeah, come with the mug of his.
I came with mine here.
But no, but we'll have samosa and everything.
Yeah, so
okay.
When all stop speaking, you shall see his ability.
Yeah,
okay.
There are in Uganda, there are people who run past their destination. And they remember later that they have run past the destination. I think Kabanda is emerging as one of those, but we give him time.
I'd like you and Lydia to invite him here, and we invite him to gang.
Yeah,
so.
Him to debate with Ofwono.
Yes.
They don't sit together.
No.
He's there in the same party.
No. We are actually friends.
Yes.
With the Kabanda.
You are friends?
Yeah, with the Kabanda, yeah.
Oh.
We have no issues.
He's reckless.
Even Lydia said they're friends, so we can have him as a spokesman, and he comes and talks here.
But Monta was founded in 1992.
92, July, yes.
Alongside Sanyo Radio, Capital, and so on. At that time, we were having the NRM, which Honorable Cecil Ogwal used to say, a monolithic dictatorship.
Yes.
And I think in the minds of the people who founded the Monta, they sought to occupy a void of a robust platform to hold the NRM to check.
No, not deliberate. It just fell on us to do that.
I think they found that the country needed a strong platform, and Monta, I think, became one. Over the years, they failed to divest themselves of that role, even after we transited to multi-party dispensation, and they became partisan, in my view. They also became overly negative, deliberately. They also became a witch hunt platform. Those are my words. Those are my words.
Are you really editing them?
Yes, those are my words. If I'm wrong, I think
you underestimate Ofwono Opondo.
Yeah, over these.
He knows how to
I know
shoot.
him. Over these 34 years of their existence, Monta has been closed, I think, 4 times.
Yes.
4 times.
Yes.
The last one was 2013.
Yes.
Where I was directly involved.
On the letter, on the project.
Yes, of the Sejusa. I was involved in contributing to the closure of, but I also participated directly with the Linus.
Well, the MD.
The MD
at the time.
The group, at the time, in the negotiation to reopen.
So remember, just go back a bit. You participated in the closure.
Yes.
What was your role?
We documented instances that we said Monta hadn't demonstrated goodwill, even where there was engagement. Remember, the previous 2 closures were what led to the exiling of Charles Onyangobo, led to others being removed, columns being struck off, and so on. Columns we demanded previously These columnists should cease. You remember once we arrested Mwenda and we drove him around this town.
Yes.
And he started crying that we are going
yelling.
Yelling, he said we are going to kill him.
But that was not Monitor, that was Capital Gang.
No.
Yes.
No.
You kidnapped him as he was coming to Capital Gang.
No.
You have forgotten.
But
Andrew Mwenda alive.
Yeah.
It was Andrew Mwenda alive.
Ah.
And
so you did it again for getting him off Capital Gang.
In each of those closures and reopening, we would set conditions. And they would say, we shall make good. They do so 1 month, 2 months, then you see they have relapsed. They have gone back to the default position of negativity. In the one of 2013, we demanded several things. Among them, actually, was the removal of, I think, Karinaki. The removal of Karinaki. That's how Karinaki was exiled to Nairobi.
Or Nkutu.
No, Karinaki.
We had demanded the one of Nkutu when we discovered that Nkutu was the treasurer of the former general, the Kizza Besigye election. Election. We didn't know that we were monitoring his computer.
But then he was at a New Vision.
Yes. And we removed him from New Vision. Then so we said, oh, so Monitor is now employing our adversary. So anyway, we continue. So eventually Monitor, Nkutu, then others and so on. So each time we close and reopen, we negotiate and we agree on conditions. Monitor hasn't lived to those conditions.
What are the usual conditions? That you be good, say balance, only good things.
For example, if the story is accurate, if the facts are accurate, be balanced, be fair.
You know they make mistakes. One time they Museveni campaign team accused us of unbalanced reporting, and we did stories were done in 1 month. We did them, and majority of the stories have been done in favor of Museveni and covering Museveni. Then they felt ashamed and they left us.
No, I thought I had been asked. So in many of them, as I said, we have demanded change of personnel, change of elements in the editorial narrative and so on. Then you discover and even where they say they have covered Museveni, they select the facts. Quite often, they would pick the tail end or highlight, if Museveni is campaigning, they highlight where he has misspoken. Yes, you would have covered the rally, but you have highlighted where he has misspoken, meaning that your intent, you have ill intent. But anyway, the main point is that I think along the way, the government has found that Monta is not honest. In this particular case, I must admit I have not bothered to find out what is the immediate, but I think it is cumulative. I suspect that the CDF has been...
That's what Andrew Mwenda claims, that it is cumulative.
Yes, cumulative. The CDF, if you attack someone's parents consistently, when I don't have the power, I will bleed quietly. But when I get power one day and I am a vindictive type, I may spring on you and get you. I suspect that may be what the spark is. That probably, on top of the things the Monta has been doing, maybe the CDF felt that these people have gone beyond. I've written an article actually saying my column.
Your Sunday column.
Yes, I said maybe Monta needs a shock therapy. If you go to hospital and suffering from amnesia, maybe they give you a shock therapy to wake you up. I have also said that probably that's in the same vein that Honorable Miriam needed a shock therapy. Whether it is in the law or not, I think shock therapy in medicine works. I hope that, and even when Monta eventually, that's actually what compelled partly the Ofwono Opondo, the founders, to sell shares to Aga Khan. We had hoped that when Aga Khan, who is a businessman across the world, would prevail over the Monta, because what the Monta does here, you don't see nation media doing in Kenya, focusing viciously on the government, on the president of Kenya. Here they do it partly, I think, which was right. Mr. Museveni, when he came, he found Ugandans running up and down, and he gave a broad latitude. I think, while it is the right of Ugandans to hold their government accountable, I think Museveni's magnanimity in our kind of circumstance need to be well understood, appreciated, and also rewarded, because Museveni, the person, is a person who's very flexible, he bends backwards. But the Monta group, it became worse when a chain of Monta leaders and their former employees, you see, were here in 2000, I think one, well, I don't know which, 2002, you're celebrating 10 years, I think. Mm-hmm. You remember we're at that former place, what's that hotel called? It's no longer a hotel now. For Karim Heritage, you go towards Chikubo there.
Equatorial.
Equatorial. We're celebrating 10 years of Monitor. WAF here was kind enough, he invited me.
Yeah.
We sat up to 2 a.m. WAF tried to recruit me away from NRM in that night. We were seated with the Honorable Zindana, the three of us. And you can see, when WAF left Monitor and joined Parliament, he became the most vicious, obstinate. Actually, in our circle, we think that why Monitor is unbending is because of WAF here. He trained the people there, and they have remained with his mental status. While he's physically away from Monitor, his FDC, his opposition stand is what drives Monitor. So I think many people in the government see in Monitor Ofwono Opondo. And you are not even willing to see the small good things NRM is doing because of WAF. We think that WAF is controlling Monitor from remote. And so when we come, I can tell you WAF, we generally come with that in mind. We may be wrong that we see Monitor in your image, but that's what's taking place. It is not the best way to do it. We should go. We should go through the route of the law.
Yeah.
In my view, the government should not be afraid to take the route of the law. We should go to court. If we want, ask court to liquidate Monta or to freeze certain elements of Monta. But when we continue now, in this particular one, you see the regulators of the media are also saying they are going to find out the circumstance. And I laughed at Nyombi Tembo. You're the UCC. The mast belongs to you, the controller of the mast, the broadcasting mast. And you're saying you are going to investigate then the minister is saying, so you see, previously it would be done by government directly.
Yes.
The officers that control the media, they're the ones who would. Now, when we have a situation where it is the army, because the government should send the army or police to do so.
No, the government should not send the army. Should send the police.
I mean, this is what I'm saying. And even where we send the army, we should be, as a government, we should be able to justify. So that the Minister of Information, the Executive Director of UCC, does not have to plead. He looked sharp. Nyombi Tembo looked sharp, in my opinion, that he said he's also going to investigate the circumstance.
It was taken unawares.
Yes.
I'm going to come back to you. Don't conclude yet, because I have a young lawyer here Godwin Toko, he's
We shall
been
take
here.
him to the basement.
No.
Godwin Toko, you're most
joking.
welcome
But
to
Ofwono Opondo
gang.
next.
Thank you,
Once
Oscar.
again.
Thank you, Oscar.
Yes. Have you worked with NMG? I know that
No,
Agatha has.
I used to write articles and book reviews for the Daily Monitor from around 2022 independently. I would submit them every week, and the book reviews was my idea of saying, let's promote Ugandan books. Who has a new book? We read it and make a review. And yeah, the many authors who thanked me said that you're doing a good job, because it was an unpaid thing, just a passion that I was doing. So that's the closest. And then after some time, I started writing articles, my views and opinions. Then the basement things came around, and I said, you know what? Oh, let me leave these things before. So I stopped writing them.
Well, I guess you've done worse than those articles with the basement, with the Agora investigation. So
Yes, they need the medal.
in some ways, you would think so.
Yeah.
But you take it up at a higher intellectual level, because
The NMG closure.
you have the us oldies on this side, and now we have a Gen Z amongst us, even with an unruly beard. But if you live in a country, if you have a country that has a poor opposition,
Yes.
it means that some sections of the media will cover that space.
True.
And if Monitor has been covering it, it is not a relentless negative the way Ofwono describes it. Yes. What do you think?
Yes, I could start with the way Opondo ended with saying that NMG in Kenya does not cover Ruto the way NMG Uganda does. Incidentally, just days before NMG Uganda was closed, Ruto had a spat out with a Standard Nation Group, Standard in Kenya.
Standard,
yeah, because they've been reporting on Ruto in a way that if you reported about Museveni in Uganda, I think they would take the whole group to the basement, because they had like Ruto's diary of lies, where they reported Ruto's lies repeated like for a whole week. Now Ruto was so mad. How do I know he was mad? Because he tweeted about it. He didn't send their troops. He didn't send their policemen. He tweeted and said, "You guys." He quoted Gideon Moi, because Gideon Moi, the son of former president of Kenya, is the owner of Standard Media. Yeah. So he said, you guys, you can do the worst that you're going to do. I don't care. Everyone knows you're negative and all that. And it stopped at that. Now, even them, they responded and said, okay, now let's do it 8 times. It said 8 times a week. Let's do it 8 times a week. Now, I think that is the better way to go about these things. The problem with the closure of NMG in the circumstance, you could even just look at the reporting. I've read an article from the Economist today morning. They'll be like, I don't know, every media has this sort of like a cartel. The world media.
Yes,
yeah, like if you see how they they don't report so much about the killings in Gaza as they report about the journalists. Yeah. You get it? So it's like when you go against the media, they can give your country very, very bad publicity globally. Now, for a country like Uganda that is struggling to get investors, desperate to get tourists with Ebola stories and all that, you don't want to add this. This is like insult to the injury. So I feel like, and there's a better way to do it. That is the way we've always done it. Yeah. NMG is reporting negative stories. First of all, there's a case, Onyango Bo says that you can even report lies. That is okay.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. I can report false lies unless you prove that I reported it deliberately. I should have known. Yeah, because you have to make it so open such that if there is a chance that I'm going to report 3 lies and then in the third I'm going to report some truth, don't crucify me so hard so I don't even report this truth. For all its sins, quotes, NMG has really also done some very good campaigns for the country, whether it's about human rights, whether it's about freedom of expression, whether it's about health. Yeah, we live in a country where, Obote's famous independent speech, ignorance, poverty, and disease. These things still affect us to this day. So they've done so much in helping the government programs. So I think the best thing they should have done was to consult UCC. UCC should have gone to court and put forward a case that we're trying to close these guys. And Delemonda should have had, they're not running. It's not like an individual that is going to run and cross the border. They should have had their day in court and been told that we are going to close you for reasons ABC. And then like, okay, can we first pay our staff salary? The staff being Ugandans, like Wandera Derrick, who probably, you can have a sick child and the staff of NMG, and now you don't know what you're going to do with the sick child. So you could have gotten to that point and then you legally close it. I'm sure that we wouldn't have gotten the negative publicity like we have got. I'm sure that we wouldn't have gotten the backlash like we are going to get. I'm sure we couldn't have been sued in future as a government of Uganda to pay as much to the NMG like we are likely to pay. So my own fear with this is that the way it was done, there could be some reasons. Was horrible. The way it was done was very horrible.
Yeah. And the point of Ofwono Opondo I'm making about a lack of a strong opposition, you are going to have a strong media that's more critical of the government.
We have had that, and from none other than the president. I'm not so sure that the president or ourselves, who service him, that we are overburdened, that negative
Stay on the microphone.
Can last long, because it has never. You remember when we were prosecuting the war in the north?
Yes.
Our opposition colleagues would say, why are you doing this? International image, yes, but that's going to be temporary. The closure of Monte, like I've said, this is the fourth one.
Yes.
Each time we do it, say, international image. And now you want to use that as a blackmail. Of course, yes, we should be mindful how we do things.
Yes.
And I concede quite often we seem not to, we don't, when elements in the government agencies and so on take a decision, I don't think we bother so much to see the broader ramification. And that's why we tend to come from one negativity to another, so that kind of the government of Uganda is perpetually in some kind of crisis management. Before I went to Parliament, I was part of what we call strategic comms for the government. And some of the things we complain about is, for example, how we communicate disease outbreak. We tend to be alarmists. This Ebola, before you finish Ebola, there's Marburg. Previously, before you finish Marburg, the police is talking about, or the army is talking about a terrorist cell burst in some place, in such a way that it makes Uganda appear as if it perpetually has, until recently when we were told that actually some of that communication was motivated by financial gain. You know, there are many...
Some claim those things, but some of these things are international protocols.
Yes,
so we shouldn't blame the medical world too much.
But how do you communicate?
Yeah.
How do you communicate? Are we the only ones who have those epidemic, those things breaking out? In Tanzania, there, do you hear? I think it depends on how do you communicate. So that's our issue with in the strategic comms. That was our main concern. When there's a disease, when there is a terrorist, whatever, how do you communicate?
Okay.
So that you are not alarmist and so on.
Go to work.
I think it would be good, obviously, if we avoid this altogether. We take the administrative review, the administrative approach would be the best. But you see, in Uganda, there are places that people do things as if they own the whole world. So
this is Ofwono Opondo seated in Ofwono Opondo's chair. But Waf, concluding this particular topic. So presumably, Nation Media or Monitor NTV have not filed their accounts because by June 30th, your office is closed. So what happens to penalties?
There was actually a time, Waf, you know, that one of the advert Waf was referring to. I think it was actually written by Rugunda when he was Minister for Presidency, the one of suspending.
Stay on the microphone.
It was mostly Pike and the late Paulette Young.
No, but when because this one of suspending advert was formal. It was written.
It was in the cabinet.
It was in the cabinet, and it was in writing. But there was a time actually when we were so pissed. We said, can't we ask these guys to pay all their taxes? And we see whether they will pay.
But these days they pay.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
But now they cannot pay the tax.
No, I'm saying, you know, when a government government wants to squeeze you, can you take that legal route, but with the ill intent?
I know they came even the returns, the papers we didn't sell. They counted them and said you sold them as pay tax. These are 60 million shillings. They said, but the papers are there in the store. We never sold them. No, you pay.
Or we can go to your creditors and pressurize them so that
I know.
Those are better ways, in my view.
Yeah,
better ways to
than selling their soldiers.
But you see, Oscar, the Ofwono Opondo said it correctly how at the time we found it, there was no opposition, there was no formal opposition, there were no parties. And the things we were doing, criticizing government, eventually they saw us as opposition. Ofwono Opondo says they see monitor as Wafula, but Wafula was NRM. Actually, when I was in the monitor, I was the only NRM mostly, and I always said I am hanging my NRM at the gate. Inside the monitor, I even tell Museveni, I will tell him my NRM ends at the gate of monitor. There I go as a professional person. So it is, and now when I go to the monitor today, they don't know me because all the people who are there are young people. They came. I retired in 2004 for goodness sake. Yeah. That is how many years ago? 23 years ago.
I mean, went in 79, but we still have a minism.
So it is not true. It is not true. It is just the creed, the editorial policy of the monitor of sticking the truth and being fair and advocating for people's interests that it makes us collide with the government. If the government was doing good things, when the government does good things, we praise the government, we support them. So it is not true what Ofwono is saying. And then Ofwono is saying we focus a lot on that he will just try to justify why Muhoozi would go and close the monitor because it attacks their family. For goodness sake, who doesn't know in this country that the family of Museveni is the state of Uganda today? They do everything, even Ofwono here.
Now you're speaking like a politician.
No. Yes. No. I'm speaking as a journalist that the state of Uganda is Museveni. Like the King Louis XIV. He's the state, like Mobutu was. He's everywhere in our lives. He's in our homes, he's in our pockets, he's in everything.
The people that are most disturbed by it, you'd say, are opposition politicians.
Yeah. So
and now you've worn your PFF hat.
Yeah, but you see,
by the one of COVID was, if you don't know, the Monte journalists who wrote that story didn't just quote the Wall Street Journal. They actually called me. That time I was the spokesperson, director at Media Center, and I said the president has not taken. The president and First Lady and their family, they have not taken
the shots.
They didn't even quote me in that story.
Who? The New York Times?
No.
The monitor.
So that's why I'm saying there's ill intent in some of the things Monta done.
No, maybe they thought you were lying because you're supposed to lie to the government. Yeah.
The other things he has lied actually.
Okay.
No, he lies for the government, but that's his job.
Okay, Prince lies for the government,
but you must lie, the government must lie.
Don't permit me completely.
That was amazing.
So,
let him get away with that one. As you've said already, when you publish that, you are punished for that, and that was dealt in a correct way.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you also throw a jab, finish the whole jab by stating as it is. So because he's saying
when they paid the president that 300 million, and the president said he had donated to the NRM, to the best of my recollection, Monte didn't write that story.
I'm sure. I read in the Daily Monitor.
We wrote.
Yeah. I don't remember.
No, we wrote.
Yeah. I'm sure they wrote about it
and even apologized.
But Ofwono Opondo, usually courts, those are conditions. When they say pay this amount, also add an apology.
No, this one need to go to court.
Go to court and we settle out of court with the judge.
Okay.
But
continue the conclusion.
This point of the first family is that
I
remember when Janet Museveni was going to politics, I was talking on Radio 1, and I said we had respected Janet, was our mama for the country, but that she has gone into politics, now she has undressed herself. We are going to treat her as a journalist. I mean, as a politician.
As a politician.
Yes. So we and that has suffered that. So what has happened is that even just the way the CDF behaves, Oscar, he abuses the parliament, dismisses them, ignores them. He abuses the judiciary. He says if you come bring their papers, I will arrest you. And indeed, he arrested Lukwago. He does that not because he's just a CDF, because we have had several CDFs. They didn't behave like that. He does that because he's the son of the president. And if you point that out, then you're against the family, which is not right. But they have never said anything wrong, lies about the family. They have never said that, for instance, they own the Capital FM, or that they own the road, the dam at Jinja. We have never said that.
So what's the future of, in conclusion, what's the future for NMG in Uganda?
The future of NMG
and I think Godwin Toko put it right that even in Kenya
there's going to be sanity will return. There will be sanity, and I hope that they are going to see that the monitor hasn't made anything. If there is any story that they are going to point out that it was a mistake, monitor was willing to retract that and apologize. But you can't go to 100 stories, which they say monitor has said so, and we don't know them, and every story the monitor does, they have win for it.
Yeah.
They have a basis for it. They have a primary document for it. And they have somebody whom they are quoting. They don't create things. And the government is just, they have this fixation about this Wafula. I know, and I said the other time that when we began the monitor, they saw us as letter O's. Waful or Bogutu or Bo or Uma. These are all northerners. And our first story was Obote's health or something like that. I don't remember the headline, the main story. So they said this Obote story. Kiseka, the vice president Kiseka, he had a program on the radio on Luero. He used to talk about the monitor, how his Obote has given us money. And one day I walked to his office and asked him, whom did Obote give the money? You give us, you tell me, because me, I never got that money. So he said, no, but you're always writing also wrong things about us. So I said, a vice president, you are saying wrong things, and Minister of Internal Affairs, you are saying wrong things because we write wrong things about you. So I think that monitor is a very useful tool for the country, and they will realize that it is useful for them, and it has helped them a lot, helped Ugandans, helped the government to correct. Sometimes they correct themselves.
Yeah. We about to go for a break and change of topic. So coming to you, Godwin Toko of Agora. Finally, there's fusion with Agora work, especially regarding Parliament. What did you used to call them? Parliamentary exhibition.
Uganda Parliament exhibition.
Uganda Parliament exhibition.
Yes.
So again, when you have Wafula Guto in the street. By the way, when you said the O's, all my northern friends especially call me Oscar for, it's Ofwono Opondo from the east. Wafula Guto from east. Oscar from Oscar.
Yeah, so. I like that.
I should become Otoko.
Otoko, yeah, you'd fit. So let's start with the what.
Are you son Otoko, son?
No, I'm not. I'm not related.
Yeah. Well, so what is it? What are the recent developments now?
The most recent development, I think, came on Thursday with the arrest of about 8 senior staffers of Parliament, not MPs, but technically.
I should tell you, by the way, I have a friend of mine, it's old generation, Gen something. He says, that young man, he talks sense, but he talks very, very quickly.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I told him he has to talk very quickly because whenever he's talking, Ofwono Opondo is waiting to interject quickly to smother him. So
it's not only your friend. Even my wife says I talk too fast.
You talk too fast.
But thing is, they arrested 8 staffers. Let me talk a bit slower.
Yeah.
Senior staff of Parliament, the Human Resource, the Director of Communications, Mr. Chris Obore, and others. And I know that they were charged in the court and they were remanded. They will come back to court next week for their bail application.
You're not speaking like a good lawyer. They are charged with
embezzlement and money laundering. So they're going to come back to court next week for their bail application. The sums of money are insane. If you compute them in dollars, $1 million, someone had 4 billion Ugandan shillings, another one had there's some 14 billion Ugandan shillings mentioned. And for me, this is good. The last time we were on the gang here, we were talking about the former speaker, Anita Mong. And I was saying that it's important that they have their day in court. Because sometimes it seems like, but it may seem like a dark, but actually it's not the dark.
Not a dark, yeah.
Yeah, so so maybe we'll have the Obores prove that they were not who Agora thought they were. And together with the Daily Monitor, I think Agora also did its work without any malicious intention. Yeah. We just saw that there was something and that wasn't adding up here. Yeah. Because what we know is that these junior staffers, and there are many, the list we have could go up to about 24 different staffers of Parliament who are receiving money on their private individual accounts. So if you remember the case of the former OPM accountant Kazinda, in that Kazinda case, government passed standing orders to the effect that if you're staff of the government of Uganda, the maximum amount of money you can receive on your private bank account should be 5 million. So let's say you're going to the field and all that, because it was similar stuff. A lot of people are receiving monies that they were using for things that were not adding up. So because of that, this was very, very surprising that people are receiving monies to the tune of 8 billion, and people withdraw these monies within a day. Someone withdraws 500 million in the morning, 500 million again in the afternoon, and then he goes and withdraws $1 billion in the afternoon. The Financial Intelligence Authority and the procedures in Uganda. By the way, I credit the government of Uganda for putting in place procedures. At least those procedures are there. They are not always...
Has Ofwono Opondo had that one? That you have a positive in your repertoire.
Yes, we all have positives for the government of Uganda. So that's why we still stay here. So the government of Uganda has very, very robust payment procedures that if someone looked keenly, there will always be that person X, that X pressed this button, X made the requisition, X did ABCD. So because of that, if you get the vouchers like we did get them, thanks to whistleblowers who had access to them, that gave them to us, you can always expose and say, on day X, someone called me, so for Opondo got this money.
I'm going to go into Agora work, but before we get there, these people have been arrested and sums have been put against them. Where is that information from?
I think
because I do not think they will happily quote Agora.
No, they will not happily quote Agora. They will not happily quote Agora. But yes, the government has better capacity to investigate than Agora does. Agora is what? 15 staff? The government has what? Thousands of staff. The IGP,
15
the CID.
staff without money.
Yes.
Let's stop for a quick break, and after the break, we'll investigate all this properly.
Sure.
We have refused to do both. We are listening to radio. Then I've had some messaging, people saying, TV is good, and so on. So, most welcome to Gang, Honorable Lydia Wanyoto, formerly Speaker of the Capital Gang, and now Minister of State, Public and what?
Public Service.
Public
Just
service.
Public Service.
Public
Straight,
service.
yes.
Okay. At the end of the show, I will thank you for raising monies for teachers.
Part of it.
I will do that at the end of the show.
Yeah, teachers and others.
Yes,
I bring you greetings from Umbale City. They are watching and listening to the gang.
And very smart in your yellow wish, Musuti.
Yes, coming from Munyonyo where we are closing our induction today, but I also have other commitments.
Right.
That's why I am what you see.
Very smart. So,
Thank
good.
you.
Arrested 8 and potential 20, and you're saying government had its own information? And if they had their information, will there be a case against them for misprison? For having information and not raising it until Agora did?
Well, that's up to them. First, let's talk about the number of the arrests. So I said it somewhere that if the government of Uganda wanted to arrest people in connection to the haste and nepotism and everything that went on in Parliament, it would go into the hundreds. Because there's also the recruitment of about 500 people who are recruited in a very, very irregular manner around the same period of time. But yeah, so I'm sure the government has information. Like I said, we didn't invent the wheel. We used information that government has access to. Whistleblowers gave it to us. So what you see...
What motivated you to start the parliamentary exhibition? Because I think you'd come from medical...
No, it was potholes.
Potholes.
The potholes exhibition,
potholes.
And then the parliament exhibition. Interestingly, when we did the parliament, then we went to medical, and the speaker was very, very happy with the medical exhibition. He was thanking us on the floor of parliament, saying that the Ministry of Health should listen to what people are saying with that. And then he turned to their house, and they were not very attentive to listen to what we were saying. But the thing with the parliament exhibition that I don't know, but I've not lived long enough to see many parliaments in Uganda. But the last 5 years of parliament have been something very, very. It's been like a drama series. There was a lot of irregular things going on, the way business was conducted. You could see some of these videos, the outbursts at members of parliament. But now also, in addition to that, there was increment in budgets that didn't seem to match. So let me give you one example. For instance, Olanya becomes speaker, and the office of the speaker at that time has a budget. Honorable Jacob Olanya, the late Honorable Jacob Olanya, becomes speaker. At that time, the budget of the speaker was about 3.7 billion Ugandan shillings. And it's like, this budget is so high, we need to cut this budget to about 2 billion Ugandan shillings. And true to his word, he started the path, because he cut the budget from 3.7 to about 3 billion in the first budget that was passed while he was speaker. Then, unfortunately, he passes on. God calls him to heaven. Now, when God called him to heaven, the next year, the speaker's budget went to 4 billion. Now, it overpassed what it was. Now, by the time the parliament ended, I think the budget of the speaker's office had gone to 19 billion. This is one office. So you could look at the budget of the Director of Communications of Bore's office. It is shot with similar astronomical figures. to, I think, about 24 billion, if my memory serves me right.
But again, I need to remind you, there was nothing illegal in that one.
There was everything.
If your budget has been taken to 19 billion and you're spending on budget, what is illegal there?
So there is, you see...
It might be immoral, but it may not be illegal.
No, it can be illegal, actually. It can be illegal. So if you're the one, if it was the judiciary, there could be questions. Oscar, remember when they arrested MPs who were accused of conniving with Uganda Human Rights Commission to increase their budget with a cut to be taken off. So you're looking at an institution that is soft budgeting. Yeah, if it was maybe the judiciary, they could be like, yeah, we are not the one in charge of the budget. But in this case, it is you, but you're the guy in the kitchen. You're having all the pieces of meat, you get it? So it can't be that that you're just serving as everyone else. So because of that, they created something called corporate social responsibility. I'm sure Capital FM does corporate social responsibility as a company. Give back to the community. It even helps with the taxing. Now, the problem is that Parliament is not a corporation. Parliament is an institution that should budget for the government of Uganda. As for my last check, government of Uganda pays budgets about 18,000 Ugandan shilling per kid in UPE, capitation grant, per year. 18,000 is on the higher end. Now, what Parliament should do is urge government, work with government to increase that figure upwards. Now, what they would do instead is that they would say, we are going to find some schools and buy for them computers. Now, how do you find those schools? How do you choose who to give that kind of money? That is where the corruption sometimes lies. So the idea
within the procurement.
Yes, the idea of corporate social responsibility of Parliament was a big anomaly. Mind you, it wasn't there in Kadaga times, it wasn't there in Ayume times and the years of, say, Kandi and the others. It started with Anita Among's Parliament. But the thing with it is that sometimes the monies would be picked and the monies would not be delivered to do the actual work. Let me give you another example. So you have Arua Regional Referral Hospital, which is a hospital in Arua town, that Arua City now, that should, from the record, the interactions I had with their staff, they're supposed to have about 28 expectant mothers per month from the time they were built, their capacity. Guess how many it serves about now? Last I checked, it was having about 600 expectant mothers per month because of the DRC, South Sudan, and the whole West Nile region where the population has really exploded. Now, the speaker, when the West Nilers went to the speaker and said, we don't have electricity, people are dying, and that was true, that people are dying in the hospitals because of lack of electricity. So the speaker said, I can't guarantee that you're going to get electricity tomorrow. But what we can do is buy you solar panels for the hospital. Very good move. They even clapped from the floor of Parliament. There's an MP called Atima who moved the motion. They thanked the speaker and all that. Now, they signed for this money. Obore went on the NTV and said, we are sending the money. You guys, you're very selfish. He was talking to us when we were doing the exhibition. Imagine if you followed the right procedure. How many more children will first die before these things are taken? That was 2022. I went to Arua in 2025, last year, early 2025, to find out, yeah, maybe they bought these things. Maybe we are the wrong guys. Trust me, there were no solar panels in Arua. 2 years later. So when you came back and we put out a campaign and said, these guys quoted all the things Obore said, these videos, and said, Obore, you didn't even buy these solar panels. You are just stumbling about. Then they sent about 90 million, but I'm reliably informed that the actual money that they had budgeted for it was about 250 million, but they sent about 90 million. Better late than never. Little, but yes, fair. The money eventually went. So
90 million can buy a lot of
it can buy a lot of
panels.
stuff. But okay, it also means that someone has pocketed what? 160 million somewhere. There's some question mark for that money. And so, yeah, there was a lot of things. And it was not just a Arua hospital. It was different schools. They would say, we're giving money to this church. The church would never receive the money. We published these things online. So it was budgeted corruption. It was there. It was endemic.
So this discussion would not get us into contempt because you published this information already.
Yeah. If they come for you, say that, man, I'm quoting Toko. I know the vouchers I have. I'll hand them over to them.
Well, the arrests in Parliament, were you surprised? And I'll ask the justification for asking you if you were surprised, because they didn't bother to prosecute the speaker. And the manner in which he was arrested perhaps will not help the prosecution. So have you been surprised about these arrests and immediate prosecution?
No, I'm not surprised. First of all, the story has been going on for a while. I'm also not surprised because I know Parliament of Uganda is one of the most corrupt institutions in Uganda.
You were there, so
I know. They are never accountable. I give example. When I was low, there was no TV in my office. I had got spoiled, so I asked for a TV to be bought. And they bought a TV, which is like one in my home, which I had bought at 800,000 shillings. And they bought it for 3 million. And then I went to the camera, the office, and they bought me a camera of 15 million shillings.
Aye.
A camera of $1,000. Then I questioned, this is...
What office was the buying office, the purchasing
There's
office?
a purchasing office there.
Oh, okay.
A very big procurement department there. And most of the suppliers of parliament are MPs and directors and the speakers. Those are the people who, apart from the hotels, even the hotels, the MPs represent hotels. Then they say pre-qualified. You go to a hotel where they are charging 10 times the price, yeah, there's a cheaper one, but you must go that one. So, and the parliament budget is never seen by MPs. Parliament doesn't have audit. You never see the audit. I was LOP and I was a commissioner.
Pardon? Oh, what's it?
That's a former commissioner of parliament, parliamentary commission, and LOP is telling you that members of parliament don't lead of opposition in parliament. Members of parliament don't see the budget, don't know the budget, the amount of money that runs parliament. Members of parliament.
At his time.
Even now, members of parliament, that parliament is supposed to be audited by the Auditor General.
And
there has never been.
They don't audit them.
The report of the Auditor General on parliament, that has been debated on the floor of parliament.
It is a very bad institution.
No, not just the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Not just the last 5 years, no.
Yeah, so I wasn't surprised, but Oscar, I'm not excited about these arrests. And thank you very much, Toko, for what people have done. Agora has done great work, but Parliament has got only 1 trillion of the money of 82 trillion. We are looking at this squirrel and not chasing the elephant. How do we use the 82 trillion? Or 72, whatever, those a lot of money. So Parliament, because they represent us, they are supposed to do the oversight, they are supposed to care about everything, so we focus on them. But here the money involved is very miniature, it's very, very small. And you know, I was telling somebody the other day that how government hires buildings from individuals. If you follow that alone, landlords is a PS of agriculture hires a building of a PS health, and the health hires a building of agriculture. It's a cartel. They share. Most of these huge buildings in this town, apartments, whatever, they belong to civil servants, and actually civil servants or public servants are the people who take money of government, maybe 60%. The ordinary people get very little money from there. I wish the Agora was focusing on a more deeper thing like that, so that we look at this more broadly than just looking at Parliament with their.
Some people would say you have to start somewhere.
Okay, it's a good thing. It's a good thing we have started there, but we should not get excited and waste a lot of time on that. We should expand that. The MPs are here. The minister now, her hands are tied. She can't do anything. She can't even talk some things. But Ofwono is there, and I trust Ofwono. By the way, Ofwono has changed of recent. he is being very good for Uganda.
Yes.
But I was worried he might go to the basement. I hope you don't go. But please, you expand this thing, the fight against corruption. Expand it. Don't just confine to Parliament there.
We're going to go to Lydia before we go to Ofwono Opondo. But as she comes onto microphone, I don't know, people on gang we have with these arrests, we've had both sides. So we've had Chris Obore here on gang, and he has gone another way. We've had Lydia Wanyoto Mutendo on gang. Now she's gone
another way.
That
Which other way have I gone?
Minister. So you and Ofwono Opondo are in.
You have joined PLU.
Yeah, she has, yes. You are in Parliament, and then last week, this week.
If you want to identify
PLU,
by the way, you know the Uganda, the Kakumu.
Yes.
That's the
You better get me one.
Uganda
flag.
You should get me one. But Lydia, I've
been with these things
are you a PLU?
for a long time.
But I'm telling you, they are PLU who are undercover.
I know.
Yes.
But is being a PLU member a bad thing?
Yes, it's a very bad thing.
How?
Don't divert topics. Don't divert topics. Lydia, you're on microphone.
Yes.
Let me save you from Ofwono Opondo. So you were in Parliament this week, and then you see people coming in, rounding up Chris Obore. Remember?
They were not rounded up from Parliament. They were actually summoned.
Okay.
To the IGG, to the IG of Inspectorate of Government Office, which is by the way across the street.
Yeah.
And they were given cups of tea.
With interviews.
As they were being interviewed, and then they were told, by the way, you are under arrest.
Which is the right way of doing things.
But I'm saying they didn't go to Parliament. No.
Okay. Yeah. So Lydia?
So this week we at Munyonyo. We've been in Munyonyo. Even today we are closing today.
No.
But
this is the NRM party.
No. Parliament of Uganda. We are all there. In Munyonyo we are doing the induction. Being trained on how to be member of parliament, to understand government policy.
To eat properly, don't hit the plate.
Don't put the
so I'm there with OO. Even actually, I'm sorry I came late because I sided with Munyonyo this morning. Then I was caught up with Oscar's jam. But Oscar, you see, for me, I speak with a lot of clarity of mind, and my spirit is settled. Because when I won elections in January, I began thinking about what type of parliament I'm going to work under for the next 5 years. So one of the issues is that we wanted to have an audit of parliament so that we can start from the beginning, and we're like, we are not going to beg people. Let's contest for leadership. And you remember, you have now told me I'm a former speaker of the gang, but that's where it started from. Because we've been hearing these stories, and they were like hearsay, because I had not been a member of parliament. I was an insider. So I was like, let's now get in there, open up and see what is this. Because we have to be role models. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot do oversight if you do not have systems yourselves. So when I speak today, I think people can say, yes, I think and it was very risky in January to say you want to be speaker. I don't know whether you agree with me. People say, you want to waste 5 years? How are you going to manage? That was because the first thing the leadership were doing is to create fear.